What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of Nerd Rage Top 5. And recently on the Dummies, we had a discussion about best and worst transformations, and you guys thought it would be appropriate to just talk about the size of my fingers. That's something you and your girls have in common. But I wanted to go ahead and take that an extra step and say it's not always about bad transformations. Sometimes it's about great transformations. So we assembled the Nerd Rage crew, and we're going to do the top 5 transformations. It spans across all those from G1 to whatever came out last week on your Target shelves.
Probably just not Beast Wars. I'm going to assume there's no Beast Wars on this table.
That's probably true.
Hot take. My list is off the dome.
Yeah. So
there you go.
And what a dome it is. So.
Hey, let me tell you, it's nice and shiny.
So with that, we'll go ahead and we'll go this way this time.
I'm going to start out with my main man or mains, flywheels. So flywheels is a jet that lands on the tank, and they make a one dude. So
completely logical.
Yeah, it makes as much sense as any of the rest of this stuff.
You know, as soon as you walked into the room, the designer was like, "I got an idea, guys." And after they heard it, people were fanning themselves with the brilliance.
That's it.
Just the overwhelming brilliance.
It's hell of a gimmick. The logistics of it, I don't understand how it's two things into one.
It's like
Skylinks.
It's like Uber Grape. It's
I don't understand how Skylinks work as an adult now. It's like, are they two things or are they one thing?
It is always interesting with Skylinks. Is Skylinks combined?
Sky and Links.
Is it the combined personality of both? You know what I mean?
Right.
Is he different when he's just the eagle?
I think it's like him riding. I think the eagle is like riding. It's like him riding a horse. I'm serious. He's riding this. It's like He-Man and Battle Cat.
So the horse just gives in, like just tucks. He just tucks his head away, so to speak. He's just like, you guys take it from here.
There we go.
You know, I respect it. You know what? I've had
it man.
Enough.
I don't just think no more.
We're at season 3 of this bull. They got the space shuttle riding cats. I'm out. Number 5.
A unique toy per kill.
Oh, dude, that's a good one, man.
Down.
I know which one that is a smooth looking.
It basically
figure.
folded in half.
Yeah, it's a black Aventador Lamborghini that turns into.
That's a good one, man.
That's great.
Yeah,
I saw them.
It's not in my top 5, but it was in my list that I chose my top 5 from, because it was one of those, and it was one of the few times that third party had like a masterpiece moment. You know, because a lot of times their engineering is a lot more clunkier than official stuff, and
it just like showed me like, because a lot of those movies towards the end 4 and 5 whatever, the designs has gotten so like not vehicular. It doesn't look anything like the Almo. Like, you can't make these into toys anymore.
Right.
Like, I was wrong. And like the robot is twice the size of the car, I think.
Yeah.
It didn't make sense. It was like, this is like some movie magic.
My number 5 is the original Fans Toys Slag. And the reason why is because it just started doing things that I didn't even consider to be a possibility, after handling like the Grimlock from Takara, where it's like, okay, you stuff the tail inside the legs, that's how that works. And then here you had Fans Toys stuffing the tail, the Dinobot leg, everything up inside of those calves, and it was and it was one of those things where I was like, man, this is something that I never even considered to be a possibility. I always had considered the dinosaur legs to kind of be like the cost of doing business, like a casualty of war. You're gonna have to have them, and Fans Toys was the first one to kind of show us like, no, you don't. But it was just that whole thing of suggesting that there's more that you can do, that you don't have to accept certain limitations.
So there's more than meets the eye.
You might say, but also, I mean, like, that's at a point in time where I think had that figure came out and those dinosaur legs been on the side, nobody would have skipped a beat.
Nope.
So it's the fact that they were doing that, and they were doing it in a way that wasn't moving 10,000 little pieces out of the way in order to do it. It was like smooth, one big motion, which is like the way they used to kind of do stuff. Number 4, Christopher.
I'm going to cheat a little bit and say G1 Soundwave and the tapes.
All the tapes?
All of it together, yeah.
See, I don't think that all the tapes deserve it.
I think
all the
original
cassette.
The original
cassette.
The Birds, Rabbit, and Rumble and Frenzy.
All right.
I just always loved the way those transformed.
I used to hate how like Rumble's fans, I could never get them to sit taut inside of the, they'd always be like making a little heart like.
That's what it was. He's letting you know that he loves you.
You know what was cool about the Soundwave transformation was that as a kid you could like fake the street light transformation from the cartoon with it. You know,
It's almost like they planned with those backwards knees to be able to do that.
yeah.
So why don't modern toys have backwards knees?
Dude, see, you know what I want to see? I want to see a fan do stop motion G1 Soundwave running on a loop for 1 minute with like the knees kicking up like he's doing a Russian dance.
It's doable.
It's a river dance.
Yeah.
Number 4, Toy World Night Orion.
Toy World Movie Prime. Did I review that?
Yes.
Oh, what did I think of it? I don't even remember it. You've looked
at so much crap.
But not only just crap, but specifically movie primes.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know,
They
like
still roll
I've
it out.
looked at so many.
Well, I mean,
That's fair.
there's differently with the last night Optimus is they have like no truck parts on them in robot mode. Like because the new ones now are back in the truck chest.
Right.
But like that specific movie, like there's no truck parts on it.
Right. My number 4 is MPB. And I've said it once and I'll say it again, but there was something about transforming that for the first time and me thinking to myself, what are they going to do with the front hood of this thing? And then as you flipped it in, it naturally went into a groove that was built inside of the frame that holds the chest and back pieces. Like it was like just, made for it. And I was like, oh, bloody, they thought of everything, didn't they, these guys? But it was one of those things where I was like, I thought I had done a misstep. Like I thought I had missed something. I had to keep looking at the instructions and like figure out like where am I supposed to get rid of this? And then it was, I guess, the same feeling that a lot of people had of like kind of the newer generation with like how they did Inferno and Grapples ladders and cranes. What that was for a lot of people, that hood inside of the B. And it seems so rudimentary now. It seems so basic now. But then the impact that it had on me was significant. Christopher, number 3.
Man, this one's some basic bull, but I love it. And it's G1 Sharktacon Gnaw.
Wait,
You pull out his legs, you open his head, you pop his arms out, and you're good to go.
That guy.
In multiplicity.
Yeah.
It's super simple, but I think it's super effective.
If you were to look at the G1 toys, right? G1 toys that look the most like the cartoon.
Yeah.
That would probably be in the conversation.
It definitely would be.
There's very few, like especially like before that one, like the earlier ones, they were so few and far between.
Oh,
I
absolutely.
mean, Ironhide is perfect.
right,
Yeah,
exactly.
Right, exactly. With the smiling face behind the windshield. It's
Dude, his
horrifying.
face looks like
No, you stole my number 2 and 3. God.
what do you have for number 3?
Number 3, I have Fans Toys Road King. I think that's the name.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive.
Like the whole
Trailer.
just goes in his chest.
Yeah.
I mean, his back.
Yeah.
And it's flush. It's not like folded up in panels. It's like it's folded up, but it looks purposeful.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive. It's pretty impressive.
That's a great figure. I mean, it'd be great if they like finished it, but whatever.
Don't get me started.
I'm fading.
And listen, the collection critique, the next collection critique, the uncut, I had too much coffee. Far too much. I went on this rant about Fans Toys fans that like I didn't even realize how far I had gone until I had stopped and listened to people sort of have to kind of deal with my consciousness being spewed for like 4 or 5 minutes. With that being said, my number 3 is Chrome Dome from Fans Project. The cool thing about it was the hood in the car mode sat on the feet, but it was in a grooved system. So when you spun the waist and you slid the hood up, it moved from the lower body to the upper body, and then you transformed both, and then you had the hood that was connected to the feet now connected to the abdomen to form the chest. And it was just another one of those like, I can't believe the type of stuff they're pulling off now. Doing a lot of research for this did make me think of like, wow, like ingenuity, like not just being able to pull it off, but like the fanciness of which you were able to pull it off was something that was more prevalent 8 years ago than it is now. Now it's like whatever to get the job done. If you got to move 13 pieces and you got to bend 13 pieces of plastic around 12 other pieces, that's the cost of doing business. It's got to look perfect. Whereas back then it was kind of like no one would think to do this.
It's more
and
elegant.
we did.
It's more elegance to it.
That's a great way to put it. Elegant.
Yeah.
I think maybe like the things they're working on now are just more challenging.
Maybe.
But to make it look even better, they have to sacrifice more pieces.
Maybe. Yeah, no, I think so. I think you're right.
Number 2, G1 Optimus Prime.
Okay.
Classic one. Everybody can do that in their head. And
So you know what?
fists.
is cool about that figure to me to this day is, for one, it would be in the conversation of lookalikes.
Yeah.
You know, and for two, it transformed like the show.
Exactly like the show.
You know, so it was like when you were reliving it or imitating the show or whatever,
that's how you
it
play it,
felt
right?
so right.
My number 2 is movie Prime, the Revenge of the Fallen, I want to say. Not the first movie Prime that got me back into collecting Transformers. That was just like so mind blown with the engineering of like how the whole front part like folded to the back and the back becomes like the waist. That was one I consistently like played with, and I have 3 different versions of it. But it was also sad when I saw the decline from that, because that was like peak Hasbro Transformers to me.
Right.
And all those movie toys were great, and then it was just like, I don't see transformation the same with a lot of people. I enjoy the complex engineering. So
There's a difference between complex, frustrating, and poorly done.
Right.
See, to me, if I had to put tension on a piece of plastic,
Yes, I don't like that.
to bend it around another piece of plastic because it doesn't swing clear.
it doesn't have the natural.
To me,
clearance.
that's not good.
Yeah, that's not.
And it doesn't matter whether it's simple or complex. You know, it's not good.
Yeah.
Either way. My number 2 is MP10, because I had the MP01, and I remember when I used to go to transform that, I would be like, all right, what are we going to do today? Well, look, I can't do anything between 2 and 5 because I'm going to sit down with MP01 and work through it. And there was something about MP10 that was like, it was just enough to keep you invested, just complicated enough to where you had to pay attention, but it wasn't frustrating. It didn't want to bash your head against a wall at any point. Everything moved the way it was supposed to. Everything cleared the way it was supposed to, and sort of just formed into this truck and then back. And it almost got to a point, you know, when I was doing it all the time, so to speak, that it almost felt like I was doing the G1 of just muscle memory. A numero uno.
You'll never believe this, Bobby, but it's MP10.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Dude, love to hear it.
That MP10 kind of re-sparked my love for Transformers to us having this conversation today, but reminds you a bit of the G1, but of all the stuff you wanted it to do back then, it actually does it. You know, obviously there's, depending on your opinion, better primes out there now, but you know, that's my prime I have in my collection is 2 MP10s of late.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Number 1 is Robots in Disguise Omega Prime. RID Prime and Ultra Magnus combined.
okay.
Ultra Magnus like the whole outfit. Like Ultra Magnus like legs becomes like
The
boots.
outfit.
His like hands become gloves and his body becomes a shirt.
I got you.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I
Yes.
fucking
It
love
happened
that
with
thing.
a flashing blue and white screen behind him.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Probably.
Yes.
But like,
Yes.
yeah, it, like you said, it's just like the animation. You can recreate the combination scene with the toy.
I love the idea of that Super Prime
Yes.
coming home like Mr. Rogers and taking his Omega suit off before he sits down to talk to the kids.
And then it just forms into Ultra Magnus and walks out.
And does
Or walks into the closet.
well, he goes and hangs out with Lynx from the Skyland.
He just rides Lynx home.
Rides him home. And then they sit down and talk about their woes.
Yeah. So my number 1, it's the Other Fans Project Headmaster. It's Smart Robin. And it was the way that like his whole flank section came apart, moved to the top of his body, and formed the nose cone basically for the jet mode. That once again, it just harkens back to that whole idea of like, it wasn't look what I can do. It was look how I can do it. And I miss that. Like I really miss that approach. As for you guys, please leave your top 5 favorite transformations in the comments.
Please.
If we disagree with them, we'll invalidate them, but you're still welcome to leave it. If you want the uncut version of this, you can join the Patreon and listen to that. And also be sure to listen to Just Nerd Rage Radio for free. It's on every platform for free every week, at least 2 hours of entertainment for you on the house.
Below.
On the house. Christopher, tell them where they can find you.
Oh, Crashbox Customs all across the fruited plain.
The dust. Dude.
I'm going to have to figure out something. And Joe, tell them where they can find you.
Sad Dolphin. I don't even stream much anymore, but Cyphers54 on Twitch.
There you go. And with that being said, we'll get out of here. Till next time.
Flappy lips.
Tasty toenails.
Tight trash player.